Hello. Well, here in Nebraska, it's just about turning to fall, and with that comes things like football, Oktoberfest, and a big thing for us brewers, the apple harvest. This year, I'm going to try and make some cider. I've never made cider before, but I know a lot of people that do, so I've had a lot of good advice in what to do. Yesterday, my beer club spent the afternoon at an apple orchard, and we picked, I believe, somewhere around 40 bushels of apples. We really only need to pick about 20, but we got a little carried away, of 3 or 4 different varieties, and the orchard crushed them and turned them into cider for us. Well, I came home with 5 gallons of cider sitting right here. I'm going to add some yeast to that cider, put a little bit of sugar in it to raise the gravity a bit so it'll give me a decent flavor. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pasteurize it. Now, I've talked to a lot of different cider makers. A bunch of them don't do anything with the cider when they get it. They just throw sugar in it, throw yeast in it. If the specific gravity is over 1.060, from what I've been told, that's high enough to where once it starts fermenting, it's going to kill any of the, or overpower any of the bad yeast that might be on the apples when they're crushed. Since I've never made cider before, I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to end up with vinegar. So I am going to pasteurize it before I pitch the yeast. So pasteurization is raising the liquid to a temperature high enough to where any organisms in it are going to be killed. I'm going to raise it up to 160 degrees, leave it there for about 20 minutes, and then chill it just like you would wort. Put it into a carboy, add some yeast, and let it go. Cider takes a while to ferment, so I'll probably just leave it alone for 3 or 4 months and not even mess with it, and let it really age and get all the sugars converted to alcohol and mellow out. When we were picking apples, we tasted some ciders that people had made last year. Some of them weren't even bottled as recently as last month, and I'll tell you, they were very tasty, so I'm looking forward to this. Well, I've got my small electric kettle here, and I got a temperature probe here I'll stick in the side in the temperature prober thinger, the thermo well, and I've got my electric brewery controller up in the corner there. I will set that again at 160 degrees and just let it go to town. First thing I got to do though is transfer the cider from the 5-gallon bucket into my brew kettle here. I've got my auto siphon ready to go right here, and it's all sanitized. Here we go. Now, this cider as it is right now is just straight from the ground, or straight from the orchard. It's been sitting since last night when we came home. Transferring this is no different than transferring anything. Get the auto siphon going and let it go to town. That's it. So I'm going to let this transfer and come back to it in a few minutes. Okay, well, I had my wort pasteurizing at 160 degrees for about 20 minutes. Right now, I've got my wort chiller in there. Prior to putting my wort in the boil kettle, I put some water in here and I boiled the water for about a half hour with my wort chiller in it. I then, just for added measure, put it in some sanitizer to clean it up. So it's in there nice and sanitary, chilling my wort. It went from 160, now it's down to about 138 in just a couple minutes. I'm going to stir it every once in a while to keep the wort moving so that we don't have any cold spots or hot spots. And I imagine let the wort chiller chill it for, I don't know, 20-25 minutes, and it'll get down to decent temperature that I can transfer it over to my carboy here. Carboy's all washed, ready to go, sanitized, so moving right along. Okay, well, I'm all done. Day's over. Transferred the cider from my boiling kettle where it was pasteurizing at about 160 for about 20-30 minutes. Might be a little longer than I needed to, but that's alright. It's into my carboy. Saved a little bit that I'm just going to drink as apple cider because it's really tasty stuff. Now, I started out and the specific gravity was 1.044 before I did anything. While I was pasteurizing, I added about 1.25 pounds of turbinado sugar, and what that is raw cane sugar. This is from Trader Joe's. It had about 1.25 pounds in there. It kicked my specific gravity from 1044 up to 1.060. So amazing that just a little over 1 pound of sugar was able to kick my gravity points up by almost 12. Or excuse me, 16. But anyway, so that's good. I got a pack here of Safebrew S-33, and I'm going to pitch it right now. Here, pull the airlock off. And I actually have my scissors and my sanitizer. And I'm just gonna... Now, some people might give me all kinds of crap because I'm not hydrating this yeast, but I've only got a little over 4 gallons of yeast. This apple cider. This is a packet for 5 gallons of beer, and I figure I'm somewhat over pitching anyway, so I'm not going to bother rehydrating. Alright, that's it. Just going to let that go, and hopefully within a day or so it's going to start bubbling away. Probably going to leave this for quite a while. I'm in no hurry to get it done, so maybe 4 months. I don't know. We'll see. I might taste it in a month or so and see what it tastes like. But I can see the yeast starting to fall in there. Let me bring the camera over. I'll take a good look. All right, man. Just in about a minute, pretty much all that yeast has gone to the bottom. Let's see if we can see anything up close here. Probably not. If you look, you can see some little dots on. Anyway, that's what we got. Well, I hope you learned something. Pretty simple process making cider. Like I said, if I would have kicked the specific gravity up with a lot more sugar, from what I understand, I wouldn't necessarily have had to pasteurize it. But I don't like the idea of the wild yeast possibly taking over my fermentation. At least this way it's something I know. You can do this with cider bought from the store. Just make sure that it doesn't have any chemical additives in it that might inhibit your fermentation. You can do it with cider bought from any orchard. Typically that's not pasteurized, so you got to be aware of that. But pretty simple thing to do. So hope you like this video, short and sweet. Take care. Cheers. Alright, it's been about 15-16 hours since I pitched the yeast, and it's really going to town. It's right behind me right here. You can see there's a good 2 inches of krausen in there, and if you look real close, you won't be able to see it in the camera, but there's a little bit of churning going around here. Now, interestingly enough, there's a bunch of sediment in the bottom, and I'm a little surprised there's that much sediment, but I guess it is crushed apple pulp. So anyway, the bubble's going about once a second out of the airlock, and looking pretty good. Everything's working as it should. Let me get a little closer and see if we can zoom in a bit. You see the airlock going pretty decent. And let's see, go down to the krausen. It's kind of weird, you can kind of see it churn a little bit left to right and back and forth as the bubbles burst. Now, I really don't think I'll be able to let you see anything really going there. Kind of doubt it, but anyway, still working pretty good. But there's my cider project. First time I've ever done it. Kind of looking forward to trying it. So anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. But if you did, let me know. If you got any questions, let me know. I don't know a lot about cider, but I know a lot of people that do. So if I don't know the answer, I probably can come up with one. Okay, take care. Cheers. Okay, here it is a day or two later. And still bubbling. And if you look through here, the krausen is gone. But you can see all kinds of bubbling happen on the top still. Kind of interesting. This just happened. The krausen just went away within the last, I would say, hour or two, because I checked this a couple hours ago and there's still a thin layer of krausen on it. Well, the krausen's gone, but look at that. That's pretty darn cool. There's a layer of sediment on the bottom still, of course. Can't really see much activity on the side. But boy, it's pretty interesting watching it come up there. I'm trying to get a clear spot in the bottle. A lot of moisture in there. Look at that. Fascinating. The krausen went away, and now it's kind of building itself back up, just as we're watching it. I didn't do anything to cause that. Anyway, more cider mysteries. And kind of the beauty of using a glass carboy, because you can see what's happening.